following is a presentation of the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports.
There are 3 games on the Sunday card in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and we're in the North Carolina capital of Raleigh, where NC State tries to keep their dominance at home alive after a win over Wake Forest. The Wolfpack welcome Miami to town. Jim Laranaga's team has lost 2 straight in 3 of their last 4. It's an important game at the top of the hour on the ACC Network. Well, welcome to Raleigh. It's a gorgeous Sunday. Hard to believe they had almost 10 inches of snow here in the middle of the week. And we welcome you inside PNC Arena today for Miami and NC State. It's hard to believe we're a third of the way into conference play. And we get to a very important single game in the conference schedule today with the Wolfpack and Hurricanes. And with Dan Bonner, West Durham, we moved this ball game really to the post today, Dan, and we'll start with our innovative plays brought to you by Progressive Insurance, because with Omer Yurtseven and DeJuan Ewell, it's going to be critical here today.
Well, they're 2 very interesting post players, Wes, and they're not the kind of big, strong.
Celtics Clippers at 10:30, Wednesday on ESPN.
For Oklahoma, Tuesday at 7 on ESPN.
Steps into the open area. Now, he doesn't go all the way to the basket. He is a very good jump shooter, including out to the three-point range. This guy is hard to guard, and I'll tell you what, Wes, that's the key. Look at the shooting percentages for both of these guys among the top 3 in the ACC. These guys are dynamite big guys.
And our innovative play brought to you by Progressive Insurance, your first-round draft pick for car insurance. We're excited to have Miami and NC State to start a busy 3-game slate in the ACC. First half action coming up right after you see this. Starting lineups and changes for both schools here, Dan.
Well, Chris Likes is in for Miami. Vasiljevic is out. He hasn't shot the ball very well. And Markel Johnson in the lineup instead of Al Freeman. First time Al Freeman hasn't started a game this year. I think the folks from NC State are just trying to get him to relax. He has not played well or shot well recently either.
7th different lineup on the year for the Pack. 4th different 5 on the floor to begin a ball game for Miami. And here is Beverly against Likes, and NC State against Miami's man-to-man in Yurtseven.
Exactly what we talked about before the game, Wes. Yurtseven sets that screen, drifts to an open spot, and is able to hit the jump shot. You have to find out where he is.
Been playing awfully well as of late. Had 29 a week ago against Clemson, 22 on Thursday night in the win against Wake Forest, and stakes the Pack to an early 2-point lead here.
Yurtseven averaging almost 15 points a game in ACC play, and the Wolfpack opens up with the man-to-man.
Look at Likes, shoots through the pressure. Brown launching a 3. And Miami answers with the 13th 3 of the year by Boston sophomore Bruce Brown.
Miami has been very concerned about their ball movement, but nothing wrong with the ball movement there. Outstanding passes as a couple of guys passed up open shots.
Here is Johnson. And Dorn, who's very explosive. Crashed the glass and Likes out of there with it. Miami on the run. Here's the speedy freshman, and Johnson swatted it out. Likes ran into the support and hit it hard down to our right.
Likes is speedy, but he is also small, and that time Markel Johnson just ran him down from behind. This is an excellent play by Johnson. Now, Markel Johnson is only 6'1", but he looks like he's about 6'11" there, swatting that one away.
Here's DeJuan Ewell's first touch. Left it short against Yurtseven.
Ewell does not fool around when he gets the ball in there. He makes good, quick moves. Not a lot of assists. Generally, when he catches the ball in there, he's looking to score. And I think that's a good defensive strategy by NC State to play him straight up with Yurtseven. The only danger would be if Yurtseven would get into foul trouble.
Dorn. Here's Johnson, sophomore from Cleveland, working against Jaquan Newton. 7 to shoot. Dorn with 5. Back for Markel Johnson's 3. And we get a whistle and foul on the rebound by DeJuan Huell.
Wes, the interesting thing there is sometimes teams have to make the right decisions, and on that particular occasion they didn't. Yurt 7 set the screen and was all alone on the other side of the court. The ball should have gone back to him rather than come to this side.
Backcourt pressure provided by the Wolfpack. Foul was on Abu, by the way, his first on the pack. And we got 2 minutes gone in this opening half. Here is Brown sliding baseline. Skip out for Newton. Now Lawrence will have a clean look and hit. Anthony Lawrence the second, 46% three-point shooter. Has averaged 14.5 points in the last couple of ball games and an NC State turnover. Miami has banged away from behind the arc here early, Dan.
Right, look here, it's Yurt 7. He's all alone over in the corner, and instead Johnson brings the ball this way, and as a result, you get a missed shot. Have to understand where the open players are, and there Abu picks up his second foul, I think.
Yep, it is Abdul Malik Abu's second. Senior from Boston. 2 on the pack, and Al Freeman, who did not start for the first time, doesn't wait long. 2 minutes and 24 seconds before he enters.
And suddenly North Carolina State gets very small. Yeah. Dorn, however, Dorn is does an outstanding job playing on the inside. So
yeah, Dorn averages 7 rebounds a game for a guy listed at 6'5". Jim Larinaga quick to tell us about premium on second chances for NC State. We've got to limit those chances here today, does Miami at the defensive end of the floor. Lawrence passed up the 3, drives to the basket and has 5 of the Canes' first 8.
And the other thing Jim Larinaga told us was that he wanted his team to not take contested shots, and they've done a very nice job taking uncontested shots here early in the game.
State the early basket by Yurt 7. Beverly answers a 3 from out on the right. 30th triple of the year for Braxton Beverly, who's had double figures in 4 of the last 7 games for Coach Kevin Keats. Here's Likes. Little fall away at the foul line is good.
And that wasn't just a short fall away. He fell away 4 or 5 feet, and he had to get out of the range of Yurt 7.
Canes by 5. Yurt 7 and Huell. Kind of cleared the right flank there, and Yurt 7 couldn't buy the left-handed jump hook. A pretty good tempo here, Dan, in the first 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, I think each team is doing a nice job getting back on defense because each team is trying to make sure they don't have to play in a disadvantaged situation in transition. But Miami, really fast start.
Boy, no kidding. Jaquan Newton got the basket there. And here's a foul in the forecourt, and it's going to be on DeJuan Huell. So the sophomore, 21 years of age, from Norland High School in Miami, draws his first. And it's number 1 on the Canes, and here's Leonard Freeman for Omer Yurt 7. And Abuka Azundu you see on the floor for the Canes for the first time. Azundu averaging about 12 minutes of contest in conference play off Coach Larinaga's bench. Dorn against Lawrence.
Miami now is an outstanding defensive team.
Here's Freeman, a long 3. Back rim rebound for Bruce Brown.
And Freeman has shot the 3 very poorly, particularly in ACC play. Yep. I think for Freeman, it's just, he's got to try easier. And I know that's very difficult for players to do, but he's just got to relax and play.
Well, we get the first turnover of the day on Miami, but Chris Likes, freshman from Maryland, knocks down the jumper. Miami a 7-point lead early in Raleigh. Lead from Miami as we rejoin you from PNC Arena, and time for today's edition of Dan Bonner's Ford Keys to the Game, brought to you by your Carolina Ford dealers.
I think first of all for the Hurricanes, no charitable contributions today. That's later on, but they have to have the tight-fisted approach. They cannot give Miami the ball. No turnovers, no offensive rebounds. Give NC State the ball. And for the Wolfpack, they've got to have their playmakers make plays. We saw that with the jump shot by Yurt 7 early in the game, but they've got to make plays on both ends of the court.
Here is Dorn working against Jaquan Newton and now Markel Johnson. Miami hands off the defensive pressure. Lob inside, Leonard Freeman the catch, and it rolls in for him.
Exactly what we're talking about, Wes. You saw the screen and roll where your 7 got open for the jump shot. Leonard Freeman isn't going to be open for the jump shot, but he's going right to the basket. You got to find him, and here's some pressure by the Wolfpack.
Like a 2-2-1 setup here, Dan, defensively.
You got to be careful. You don't want to give up open layups or three-point shots. So that didn't look to me like they're really trying to steal the ball. Just run some time off the clock. Keep that pressure on.
Newton on the drive, kick for Brown. Here's Lonnie Walker passing up a shot. Now Likes with 2 to shoot. And with 1 on the shot clock, Brown a 3, and it's good. Bruce Brown, a pair of triples to start.
Miami continues to shoot the ball very well, West, but they're getting excellent shots.
6 of 8 from the floor, and the Canes have 3 threes in those 6. They're 3 for 3 from behind the arc here.
And the threes have resulted from dribble penetration and then 2 or 3 passes after the dribble penetration.
8-point lead is their largest, and Freeman travels before he's fouled. So NC State turns it over for a second time.
And I think that's a better move by Freeman to try to attack the basket, but still, you can't force things. This is an NC State team that in the non-conference portion of the schedule shot an awful lot of free throws, but in conference play, they have not done so.
That's right. Here's Brown, and almost had it picked. Torin Dorn got a hand on it. Newton almost ended up over here with...
And Brown is very fortunate that that was not a turnover, because if Newton had touched that ball, it would have been an over and back. Very lucky break there for Miami.
Brown is fortunate, and so are we. Because he almost ended up here with us. Newton on the drive. Freeman will be called for the foul. So Leonard Freeman's first, Dan.
We're probably more fortunate than Brown.
Yeah, absolutely.
What we've been talking about is the ability of Miami to get to the basket, to penetrate off the dribble. This time there's nobody open inside. In fact, Izundu actually got in the way. If Izundu sees the guy driving down the lane like that, he's got to step to an open area. He clogged up the middle.
Miami is 1 of 2 at the line behind Newton. The Canes' free throw percentage is nothing to write home about. 64% on the season. They're 15th in the league. They're a little better in league play at 70%. But early in the year, it was just dreadful what Jim Larenega's team was doing at the line.
Yeah, but again, Wes, Miami doesn't get to the free throw line much either.
Yep. Here is Freeman. Nice pass. LeVar Batts Jr. tees up the veteran Freeman for his second basket. What's a good look by the rookie Batts, Dan, for State. Izundu stays on the floor now. Remember, Huell the foul early. Here's Likes. Miami's lead is 7. Vasiljevic on the floor.
And Vasiljevic is a guy whose three-pointer has totally deserted him.
Yep. Inside, Izundu tried for a second chance. Rebound pulled away. Freeman ahead for Al Freeman. In traffic, had it blocked out of there. Vasiljevic the loose ball.
Did he have that blocked by Likes?
And here's Miami on the run, and Lonnie Walker.
Wow. I thought that ball was headed into the seats. Did you see Walker go up and get that one?
Big-time freshman from Reading, PA, with his first basket. Miami by 9, and look at Batts go to work. Can't finish the layup. Got a little chaotic now, Dan.
NC State, that's just what I was about to say, Wes. They're looking a little frazzled on the offensive end. Miami's very good defensively. They can make you look that way.
And there's a hand check foul on Izundu. That'll be Abuka's first, number 2 on Miami.
Wes, and the best offensive set, if you will, the best play for North Carolina State so far has just been the simple screen and roll. And here we saw Likes getting shot blocked at 5'7". Freeman brought that ball down to him, trying to hang in the air. Not often you see a 5'7" shot block.
No. In fact, for Chris Likes, you'll forgive me for not having his block shots charted here today, Dan.
I forgive you.
Here's a 3 from Sam Hunt, who's come onto the floor for the first time. And Miami on the run here.
Wes, it's his first of the year.
Good. I was getting ready to say, I'm glad we're able to validate that. Almost 8 minutes gone. Very tempo-based first 20 minutes of play so far. And Miami turns it over their second, but the Canes protecting a 9-point lead. And one of the highlights for Larenega's team, Bruce Brown sets up the freshman Lonnie Walker IV. Back to Raleigh in a moment on the ACC Network. On the official ACC mobile app. 9-point lead for Miami. How about a quick check of our Coyote Tractor Player of the Week? And it's Huntersville, North Carolina's Luke May, who went for 32 against BC 10 days ago. And then last weekend, a double-double against Notre Dame.
Wes, they just gave us the stat sheet here, and they gave that block shot to Izundu and not to Likes. Likes should file an appeal.
We should help. Here's Beverly on the drive, and Izundu gets the rebound. Miami by 9. Brown the scoop. And no second chances. Sam Hunt comes away with the rebound.
It's a good idea to attack the basket, but you cannot be taking contested, difficult shots in there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's almost like a turnover.
Bats. Here's Hunt. NC State has been under 42% in each of the last 3 games. And 30% from 3. And the Pack trailing by 9 here early.
Anthony Lawrence coming from behind, knocking the ball away, being called for the foul. And that is a play that a defensive guy, Jim Larenega knows this, is almost never going to be allowed to make. If you're behind the offensive player and you reach from behind to knock the ball away, the official is almost always going to call that a foul.
Didn't you find it interesting? We spent a good bit of time talking with both Kevin Keats and Jim Larenega about contested shots. I mean, interesting, a third of the way into the league, it's more about what kind of shot they're getting, the quality of look in this year's edition of the ACC. Yurt 7, a nice jump hook for his second field goal.
And that's what makes him so tough. He can beat you outside, he can beat you inside. That was a very quick move on the inside before any help could come. I think that's a tough matchup for Huell. And keep in mind, he already has 1 foul.
Yep. Vasiljevic inside Huell. Threw it away. Bats off the deflected pass. State in transition. LeVar Bats to the iron.
And LeVar Bats, he may not be much of a three-point shooter percentage-wise at this point in his career, but you let him get out in transition and get going, he is really something.
Yep. 5-point lead, 4 in a row for the Pack. Lawrence for Vasiljevic's 3, and Miami gets DJ Vasiljevic, the sophomore from Australia's first basket of the day.
And that's got to feel good for Vasiljevic. He comes into this game in ACC play shooting only 15% from beyond the arc.
Yurt 7 can't answer. Huell couldn't get the rebound. Here's the second chance for NC State.
And that's what we're talking about. That was basically a giveaway there. You got to grab that rebound.
Markel Johnson plays with LeVar Bats and Sam Hunt on the perimeter. Yurt 7 just inside the top of the circle. He's got 6.
He is not your normal post guy. Anthony Lawrence cannot get that far away from Yurt 7. That's generally what you do as a post guy. You help out inside, but not with Yurt 7 standing at the free throw line.
6-point lead for Miami. The basketball with the Canes. Vasiljevic, another one. No, bounced out. Yurt 7, the rebound in front of Huell.
And the ball movement for Miami has slowed down here, Wes.
Sam Hunt will shoot and hit.
Now look out when Sam Hunt gets going. He can really light it up. Only shooting 30% from 3 in conference play. But he's capable of getting very, very hot out there.
Newton. Almost poked away by Johnson. Newton stayed with it. Couldn't finish the shot. Got batted away. Look at Bats hustle to make the save. High dribble from that freshman, Dan.
Well, the Miami offense is not going to function if only one guy touches the ball. Not many offenses function well in that particular method. Throwing the ball.
Here's Yurt 7. He'll work inside and score.
I was thinking he needs to have the ball immediately, but not Yurt 7. Really nice job. 11-3 run.
Yeah.
And Wes, I think as much of it has been produced with Miami struggling on offense, taking bad shots as NC State's offense down on the other end getting better.
First basket for Huell on the dunk. Here's Hunt, who threw in the three a moment ago, working against Vasiljevic. Johnson, 10 to shoot. Markell with a path, challenges Lawrence. And the ball got knocked away. Vasiljevic to the deck and saves it for Newton. Poked away, here's Batts with Johnson. Crossover, scoop, and missed it.
Well, that's good defense by Vasiljevic.
Lawrence thought about the three. Newton inside, Huell the layup. 4 in a row for DeJuan Huell.
I hadn't really played that much, Wes, but when he's in the game, he's very effective close to the basket. Nice job by the Hurricanes to find it.
Yep. Miami back to a 5-point lead. You're at 7 to catch. Jumper over Huell is good. He's got 10, Dan.
It's amazing Miami can't guard it. And particularly the Hurricanes are having trouble guarding that screen and roll.
Omier is 5 of 7 from the floor here in the first half. Back to a 3-point game. Lawrence, a contested shot.
I think he was looking for the foul against you at 7.
Hunt, another one.
Bad news for Miami. It looks like Sam Hunt's hot.
Yeah. Tied at 25. And PNC Arena is alive on the Wolfpack run here. Vasiljevic, Lonnie Walker on the wing with 10 to shoot a three.
A contested three. Nice defense by Sam Hunt to help out against Huell on that screen and roll.
Johnson through traffic. Batts, Markell thought about it. Bounces out for Hunt. Oh, now it's a little chaotic. Batts wanted the ball from Johnson, then Walker kept it alive, and the NC State turnover.
How about that play?
Skip for Newton.
It's a little hectic, wouldn't you say?
Oh, not a little, a lot. Vasiljevic and Hunt the rebound.
Ball has to move. Miami demonstrated that early in the game. The ball moved, the players moved, they got wide open shots.
Approaching 5 minutes to go in this first half. That's seen NC State trail by as many as 9. And Johnson threw it away, trying to go to your 7, another State turnover. Walker slashing. And he'll draw the foul. And I believe it's on your 7. It is. Omier's first. 4th on the pack. Sam Huntsman, part of the barrage. Couple of triples for the Greensboro grad transfer. Back to Raleigh.
And we talked about Omar Yurtseven before the game and all the things he can do with the basketball. The jump shot from outside. Now watch, this is just a good, tough move on the inside. And again, he steps out, finds the open area. That's so important for a big guy. You've got to find the open spot, and when that spot's not open, you make one yourself. Huell trying to be very careful. Yurtseven just dunks him in. And again, he doesn't go too close to the basket, doesn't step all the way outside. He finds a good open area, and he's able to knock down the jump shot. He's got 10 points.
Foul going to the break was on Yurtseven, so that'll put Lonnie Walker the 4th. The Pennsylvania freshman at the line. He had started the last 3 ball games prior to today, averaged 13.5 points in the 3 starts, but coming off the bench today now has 3. And Miami back in front by 2. Beverly with Dorn, Yurtseven, Hunt, and Freeman on the floor. So Markell Johnson with 6 assists gets a break on Coach Keats' bench, and Braxton Beverly handles the rock. Here's Dorn, the 3. And Lights returns to action for Miami. Little guy from Mitchellville, Maryland. In against the trees. Hit the side of the glass after
And again, that's just a force. If you have an open shot in transition, then that's one thing. But he just took that into a crowd.
Here's Freeman into traffic, stripped and fouled. Earl Walton on the whistle, works with Roger Ayers and Ron Gruber today, and it's on Chris Lights. It'll be his first, and 4 now on Miami, and that'll give State the ball on the baseline. Freeman. And here's 7 to miss.
Oh, what a rebound.
Lawrence tried to battle inside, and Dorn comes away with it.
Dorn just took it right away from him.
Here's Azundu, the layup. Miami back in front.
Boy, Freeman just continues to struggle. He's trying to make something happen. And it's just not going right at the moment. And the Wolfpack trails by 2.
Mellow Mushroom 3-point challenge is presented for you. Free download in your app store. You can play as your favorite ACC team. Oh yeah, all of us on the broadcast have downloaded the app. Some are better than others at the 3-point challenge, but we're letting folks here at PNC Arena get geared up today. I remember you being quite good at this, Dan.
Well, my grandson is good at this.
Is that right?
So that's the best I can say. But everybody likes pizza, so. Here's NC State applying the pressure. I think the Wolfpack has done a nice job applying the pressure and getting back, so they're not giving Miami the opportunity to beat somebody off the dribble and create an open space.
8 to shoot. Brown trying to go inside. Azundu left hand scores.
Boy, that's a nice job moving the basketball from side to side. Azundu cutting to the open area, and your 7 just picked up that foul, so you know he's going to be a little bit careful.
9 assists on 12 baskets today for Miami. One of Jim Larenega's points of emphasis coming into this afternoon's contest. That ball got deflected. Here's Lawrence with the turnover. Had Likes out front. Big Amp Lawrence all the way. He draws the foul.
Likes looks a little bit upset that Lawrence didn't throw him the ball, but I thought that was a good decision by Lawrence. There's no need to throw it ahead.
Right.
Excuse me, to a 5'7" guy who's really not that far ahead. He's going to get the shot block. We already saw him get 1 shot block today.
Anthony Lawrence, the junior from St. Pete, Florida, will go to the line. A year ago against the ACC, averaged 7 points and 4 rebounds. He's up to 10 and 8 in conference play. Nice year of improvement as Lawrence missed the front end of the 2-shot shot.
Lawrence is one of those guys that you've talked about, Wes, from Miami. He's not had a great year shooting free throws.
65%. But Dan, Miami is one of those interesting teams, and you mentioned this. As a team, they don't get to the line much, and as a result, you really don't know how good some of these guys are as free throw shooters. And it's strange to say that in, what, the 3rd week in January? But that's really the reality for Larenega's team, unfortunately, I think.
In ACC play coming into the game, they've been outscored by their opponents by a total of 15 points from the free throw line.
Yeah.
That you don't want to be a minus in that particular category.
6 turnovers for State. Azundu walk. Yep. Earl Walton with the whistle. Miami a turnover, their 5th. So 11 combined now between the 2 schools as we go through the final 2:21. And Jim Larenega from the Bronx in New York, just that pained look of what?
Well, if you're going to get a turnover, that's the way to get it. You don't give North Carolina State the opportunity to get out in transition.
Well, here's Johnson.
Well, your 7 was open, but he fell down.
Freeman on the board. 30th 3 of the year for Al Freeman.
Well, the one thing that you seem to be able to predict about Freeman is it doesn't matter if he misses some, he's going to keep shooting them.
Well, shooters shoot is what the old coaches used to say, right? Good, bad, or indifferent, shooters are going to shoot. Azundu with the left hand again.
He's really good with that left hand down on the post. You've got to make him turn the other way.
Yep. Buka's 3rd field goal. And you're at 7 along 2.
And one of the amazing things about your 7, Wes, is how quickly he releases the ball. Lots of times big guys get outside and they need a couple of beats to be able to get that shot off, but not your 7. Nice pass.
Brown in traffic, and a foul will be ticketed underneath to Markel Johnson. A mismatch for the sophomore from Cleveland. It will cost him his first and number 6 on State, and Bruce Brown will go to the line. And we'll get a look at the sophomore from Boston, who is 63% on the year. 7 for Brown, and don't forget the Hardee's halftime report on the way at the break. We'll look at all the highlights plus stats and update you on the other ball game underway in the league. Louisville welcoming Boston College to the Yum Center. BC's first 3 road games in the ACC, at Virginia, at Carolina, at Louisville, Dan. Jim Christian might want to place a call to Greensboro and ask for a redraw maybe, huh? Here's Walker, blocked, you're at 7. It'll stay with the Canes.
When you make up your mind before you start down the lane that you're going to shoot the ball, it gives a 7-footer like your 7 the opportunity to just track the ball. Your 7's just watching. There's no chance that Walker's passing that ball, and that makes it very easy for your 7.
Here comes Freeman for Dorn.
Well, Freeman and your 7 have been a good combination inside today.
Yep. Freeman
with a couple of buckets off the bench.
And Huell is off the deck for Coach Larinaga here in the final minute of play in this opening half. Here is a Zundu. Whoa! Abuka was going for the full Monty on that one. And draws the block.
He was trying to jump over. Who was that? Batts in there?
Yeah. Hang on now, kids.
Well, Batts has his foot in the restricted area anyway, but he moved right underneath Zundu.
7 on State. Wolfpack yet to shoot free throws today. Abuka Zundu just 39% at the line. 7 of 18, make him 7 of 19.
So Batts risked his life, but it was a good play because Zundu, as you mentioned, not a very good free throw shooter.
Tell you what, you put your seats and your tray tables in their upright and locked position when Abuka does stuff like that. My goodness. The lead is 4 in the final minute for Miami, who's led by as many as 9 in the first half. Batts, who gave the Wolfpack some real energy off the bench early in the frame. Freeman left open another one. Rattled out, you're at 7 the rebound, stripped of it, and that was Sam Wardenberg who got a hand in. The redshirt freshman from Henderson in New Zealand, who has not played in the last 6 games, has not played since New Mexico State in the Rainbow Classic around Christmas time, Dan.
Well, and when that happens, you better not let the guy you're guarding get an offensive rebound, so he did very well to recover.
So Wardenberg snuck in the ball game there. And for the final 30 seconds, Miami a 4-point lead.
5 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock.
Here's Walker. Vasiljevic now likes. And did he travel or was he fouled? He traveled, says Roger Ayers. So State will have the last possession with 16-6 if they choose. And here's Wardenberg back for Walker.
Just, I think, trying to get a little bit more size.
Oh, he's got it. 6'10" is Sam Wardenberg. And now Batts with 10 seconds to go. State can't wait around much here.
He's going to try to beat him off the dribble.
Yep, sure is. Here goes Batts. Tried to feed you at 7, got deflected. Here is Beverly at the horn. Air ball. Miami 36. NC State 32. Kind of a frenetic first 20 from Raleigh.
That's a good word for it. Each team, playing out of control a little bit at certain times of the game, but each team, when they've moved the ball, they look like they can be very effective.
Stay tuned. Hardee's halftime report coming up from PNC Arena, where Miami leads NC State 36-32 at the break on the ACC Network.
Basketball is being brought to you by Geico, saving people money for over 75 years. By Gatorade, win from within. by your Carolina Ford dealers. And by Bojangles, it's bow time.
4-point lead for Miami. And away we go with half number 2 here from PNC Arena.
I think the Hurricanes have to figure out a way to get some more help from Huell, who only played 10 minutes in the first half, only had 4 points.
Brown, we look for Huell on the cut. Here's Lawrence opting for the 3.
And that's a great reaction by Miami. Abdul Malik Abu was guarding Lawrence, and he dropped down inside to prevent that screen and roll, and that left Lawrence wide open from 3, and Lawrence is an excellent three-point shooter.
Here is Beverly, a little hanging jumper at the foul line for Braxton Beverly's second field goal. 5 for the freshman from Hazard, Kentucky.
When he gets it off pretty quickly too, doesn't he?
Yep. Not a lot of waiting around, was there?
No. Well, when you're his size, there can't be a lot of waiting around.
Newton. Now Likes on the drive, the scoop, and the roll for Chris Likes. Second field goal for the little guy from Mitchellville, Maryland. Comes in averaging a dozen against the league, Dan. That might be one of the more surprising stats of the year.
It might be one of the more surprising stats, but he is very aggressive when he has the ball. Likes appears to be looking to score.
Dorn misses, so here's Miami, a 7-point lead. Likes the big high dribble. Newton, the runner off the pass.
Again, it's decisions. You had the defense down inside the lane. Find somebody open from 3.
What a catch and score by Yurtseven. 14 for Amir.
Well, he was pretty well defended there. That would have been pass interference on Huell if we were playing football. But somehow Yurtseven caught that one.
Here's Huell out front against Amir. On the drive and fell off the rim. Pack trails by 5.
And Miami stays in the man-to-man.
Dorn for 3. And boy, nice battle, but Huell got enough of it to keep it alive for the Canes, and Brown flipping the floor. Lawrence and 1. 5.5 for Anthony Lawrence of Miami 7, and he'll get a chance to add the free throw.
And Abu picked up another foul. That's 3 fouls on Abu. He's barely played today.
Yep.
Played 3 minutes in the first half, and he's going to get 2.5 here in the second half before he's got to go sit down.
Look at the catch here by Amir Yurtseven, and
well, not only did he catch it, Wes, but he recognized that he was underneath the basket, collected himself in traffic, great pivot and dunk. That's just really a heady play.
Free throw by Lawrence. He's got 6 of their 8 in the second half.
Wes, this is the way the game started. Miami pulling out, and NC State spent the rest of the half trying to close the gap.
They got it tied at 25, but trailed at the break. That got slapped around. Yurtseven cleans up the carom. He's got 16 on his 8th field goal.
Everybody went for the blocked shot. Nobody was there to pick up Yurtseven. Of course, at 7 feet, he's hard to pick up anyway when he's that close to the basket.
Huell, one hard dribble, and now on for Brown. Step back 3, Bruce Brown. No, it's a 2. Standing on the line in front of the Canes bench. 9 for Brown.
Boy, Brown every once in a while shows you such flashes of ability.
Yep. Beverly a 3. Rattles it in. 8 now for Braxton Beverly. That's his second triple of the day. Other end, Likes. Too fast. Out of control. Lost it over the inline.
That's one of those plays. You want to push the ball up the court, yes, but if you're Likes and you're dribbling down the court and you see the guy who's in the lane ahead of you is Yurtseven, pull it back out. Takes us back to Kevin Keats' great line of philosophy in our visit today, right?
Here is the give from Johnson, and Yurtseven now with 18 on his 9th field goal.
And what Kevin Keats said, it doesn't matter what the coach wants you to do, all the players want to play fast. And he added, except Virginia.
Yep, that was a great line. So no matter what the coach says, everybody wants to play fast, except Virginia. Likes trying to answer. Cannot.
And I think you're exactly right, Wes. Likes made the mistake before, so now he's trying to get it back for his team. I thought that was a rushed shot.
Johnson into a double team. Newton the turnover. Brown strong, and he'll get a chance at a three-point play. 11 now for Bruce Brown. And a live ball turnover haunted the Wolfpack there. Foul will be on Johnson. His second, and the second on the Pack and a half.
West Miami is not a team that's going to get the ball off the board and try to create a fast break transition game. But when they get it from you on the turnover, they've got some guys who can finish in transition, and Bruce Brown is certainly one of those.
Bruce Brown 1 for 2 at the line. 6'5" sophomore from Boston. And the free throw good.
Wes, we said before the game that the Wolfpack had to get their playmakers to make plays on both ends of the court. And the only guy who's really made a lot of plays is Yurt 7.
Yep. Here's Dorn. Skip for Beverly. Another three? No. Yurt 7 kept it alive, though. Inside, here's Dorn at the foul line. Nice shot. And a great look from Braxton Beverly, Dan.
Nice cut by Dorn, and good reaction by Beverly. Yurt 7 couldn't get that rebound, so he tipped it out.
4-point lead for Miami. 4.5 gone in the second half. Vasiljevic had it blocked by O'Meara. It'll stay with Miami. And we get a timeout.
That was a bad idea from the start, Wes. Vasiljevic is not a guy who's going to drive the ball to the basket. He's a three-point shooter.
State's been strong at home, but they trail 4 in the second half at Raleigh. Haynes have been throwing him in from deep, Dan.
The three has been a big story for Miami, and particularly early in the game, Wes. They started the game making 3 of their first 4. Excellent ball movement, getting it inside, throwing it back outside, finding the open guy on the perimeter. Now, they've made a total of 5 in the game, and so that three-pointer set up the fact that they have to be guarded out there, and the Hurricanes have taken advantage of that by trying to drive the ball inside, too. They've done a nice job getting to the line, and Azundu, good heavens.
Abuka Azundu.
All he has done is come off the bench and dunk the ball.
Man.
He's got 9 points in the game now.
He dunked it so hard it never came through the basket. It rolled around the net and then popped right back out. Lead is 6, and Dorn and 1. Whoa! Dorn giving you everything for sale at the counter.
Wes, I actually think that ball went through the basket and hit him on the foot. Because if it doesn't go all the way through the basket.
Oh, it hit the knee, yeah.
Yeah, it hit him on the knee. It doesn't go all the way through the basket, it's no good. And here's Dorn taking advantage. This will be NC State's first free throw of the game. And NC State has not been able to create very many transition opportunities, but they were that time just by pushing the ball up the court quickly.
7 for Dorn after the Miami foul was their first of the half. Here's Vasiljevic and a 3.
And that's what he does. You know, the last time just before he went to break, he tried to drive the ball to the basket. No, DJ, stay outside and shoot it.
So Dejan Vasiljevic on the board with his second field goal of the day. Yurt 7's been fantastic and continues to be. He's got 20 now in the ball game.
His shot, he has made the jump shot. He has taken it with his left hand to the basket. He's dunked it. That time, little hook with his right hand.
Newton. Lonnie Walker will try. Lead is 4. Look at Vasiljevic pressuring Dorn. That ball got knocked away and finally out of bounds to Miami. Crowd here thought that Dorn might have been fouled in the double team around the midcourt line, but.
And Kevin Keats is up and he is telling his players, pass the ball. You don't want to try to dribble it against that pressure if you've got outlets available. Pass the ball. Yes, absolutely.
45-year-old Lynchburg, Virginia native. Of course, a fantastic run at UNC Wilmington.
Great back door that time.
Here is Batts, the other end, and 1.
Just because you make a basket does not mean that you can relax. You've got to get back because NC State, since that last break, they have really tried hard to push the ball and have had some success doing it.
So the foul on Brown, his first, and that'll put the freshman from Concord, North Carolina, at the line. 61% on the year, LeVar Batts.
This is a guy who scored over 2,000 points in high school, Wes, and he's got great speed.
Yep, originally ticketed to go to VCU when Will Wade went to LSU and Kevin Keats came to NC State. He got out of his agreement with the Rams and now playing as a rookie in the ACC, cuts it to 3.
He has not shot the ball well in his rookie season, but he has shown flashes.
Here's Brown, a 3. Wow, Bruce Brown heating up now. And that's 8.5, 15 in the ball game for Brown.
And Likes created that. They beat his man off the dribble and got into the lane. Didn't try to force anything that time.
Batts slides all the way through, tried to scoop it. And out of there with it comes Miami up 6 now.
The phrase out of control leaps to mind right there.
Walker, hard drive. Vasiljevic, another 3. And you're 7 the rebound.
That's exactly what you want to do, though, if you're Miami. Draw the defense, find the three-point shooter.
Dorn will draw the Brown foul. Hard foul by Brown. Nothing malicious in it for his second and the third on Miami.
Well, the officials might be discussing whether or not this could be a flagrant 1 foul. He comes down on top of him, and Wes, if he wrapped his arms around him, that could very well be a flagrant 1 foul.
So
the contact was not excessive, but for a flagrant 1 foul, the contact does not have to be excessive. The definition is excessive and or unnecessary.
So you're saying the reach back with those arms?
I'm saying if he grabs him, he wraps his arms, that's supposed to be a gimme. Watch, he comes down on him, and
wow, so the right arm kind of moved in there, right?
Both
and that's what they're looking for, right?
Yes.
He was trying to prevent the shot from being taken.
That's correct.
Yep. So Roger Ayers, Ron Gruber give it a look, and they're going to bring Earl Walton over. And he'll get a look.
As I say, the definition of a flagrant foul is excessive and or unnecessary. So it doesn't, the degree of contact isn't necessarily part of it, but the officials could very well determine that that was excessive.
By the way, that was the second on Brown and the third on Miami in the half.
Now again, the key here is if they decide it's a flagrant foul, then NC State gets 2 shots and the ball, and if they're going to talk to Jim Larrañaga, they call it a flagrant 1. And they called it a flagrant 1 because they determined that the contact was excessive.
That's it.
So that is a big play in this 6-point game, an opportunity for these 2 free throws, and then they get the ball for another 2 or 3 possibly.
Yep. Dorn will get a couple of free throws, and then the ball for the Pack is first one good. Now, Dan, show what we're looking at here is the arms, right?
Well, he comes down and he jumps on top of him and wraps the arms right there. But what they determined was that that contact was excessive. Now, it was not severe. If they determine it's excessive and severe, then it's a flagrant 2. And he's out of the game, but that certainly didn't rise to that level.
Right.
And Brown, you can't really blame him. He's trying to keep the ball from going up on the board. He doesn't want to give him the opportunity for a 3-point play.
So State's got a chance for at least 4, maybe 5. Beverly off a Freeman screen. And here is Dorn, who's given a scoring punch, and Hunt took his eye off of it. Remember, Sam Hunt had a couple of big threes in the first half. And here's Jim Larrañaga when Roger Ayers tells him it's an excessive 1. Cost him 2 points.
Which is what it was going to cost him anyway. So a foul and 2 points, and Sam Hunt just simply couldn't handle the ball. You know, Ibuka Izundu has done a much better job guarding the screen and roll than Buell, and I think that's why Izundu's in the game. Plus the fact that he has been really good catching the ball around the basket and laying it in.
He's got 11 points in the ball game, does Ibuka. And turnover number 11 on the Wolfpack as Beverly fired a ball across the floor.
And that's the word for it. There's a 100-mile-an-hour fastball from about 2 feet away.
And substitutions. Markel Johnson reporting back for Sam Hunt.
Well, Hunt's a guy who's going to make threes for you. And Johnson has had an outstanding game. He's got 9 assists in the game.
This is Azundu, by the way, Dan. His first double-figure game against the ACC this year. And his third double-figure game of the year. He's at 14 points in their season opener. Vasiljevic turned it over. Freeman had it and lost it. Azundu cleans up. 13 for Abuka Azundu.
Well, that was near disaster. It was turned into a big break for Miami.
Inside Freeman, the catch and score. Leonard Freeman has 6 now on his third field goal of the day.
That time Azundu got caught up top trying to guard the screen and roll. NC State's got to dig in here on the defensive end. That's the way they made their comeback in the first half. They're only down 6.
Azundu for Vasiljevic.
Now, normally I would say don't give up one that close for the 3, but Azundu was losing control of the ball.
And 1 for Al Freeman. So Freeman, just his second field goal and a 2-point goal. Lonnie Walker draws the foul. How about this? State to within 4 and a free throw when we come back. Point lead for Miami as we welcome you back to Raleigh, and it's bow time. So that means we're checking the Bojangles fan of the game cam. Clark Kent, maybe? Bruce Wayne? What do you think, Dan? Clark Kent or Bruce Wayne?
I'm a Superman fan myself.
All right, that does it.
I mean, seriously.
So the folks at the Daily Planet have voted.
Okay.
And Superman is our Bojangles fan of the game.
Actually, my favorite superhero is Wonder Woman when my granddaughter Jane dresses up as Wonder Woman.
Here's Al Freeman at the line with 5 and the missed free throw.
You know, Wes, it's very interesting. Omar Yurtseven, who's on the bench right now, is the only Wolfpack player in double figures, even though 7 of the pack have scored. And one of the guys who hasn't scored is Markel Johnson, and all he has is 10 assists.
Likes. Crowd on to travel. 10 to shoot for Bruce Brown. 4-point game. Likes.
Likes has 1 speed and 1 speed only. It's very, very fast.
Here's Huell, right-hand jump hook. Leonard Freeman the rebound.
Freeman is such a solid player. He's added some offense to his game this year, but he has always been a guy upon whom you can rely to just do all the things necessary to help a team win.
Alaric Freeman has got another 3. Jim Larinaga wants a timeout. State to within 1 with 10:29 to go. We might be going to the wire in Raleigh this afternoon. Back after this. Production of Raycom Sports, also streaming live now on the ACC.com and on the official ACC mobile app. Jim Larinaga's team seeing NC State shoot 55% from the floor today.
And NC State is on a 7-0 run. And Wes, the interesting part about this little mini run by NC State, it's been accomplished entirely with Omar Yurtseven on the bench.
Long lead pass, Likes the layup.
Well, he's small enough that you could lose him, I suppose, back there. But that is a serious mistake coming out of the timeout.
There's a foul on Huell.
Well, here's Likes back here, and he just takes off. I think they had the element of surprise there. I don't think Beverly actually thought they were going to try to throw it long to Likes.
They just put him in the slot to the wide side of the field and had him run the post route. Approaching 10 minutes to play in this ball game, and Freeman a little aggressive on the drive, but gets paid off with the foul, and it's on Lonnie Walker. And that is 6 now on Miami.
And this is one of those situations you get a look at Omar Yurtseven on the bench. If you're Kevin Keats, your team is playing well. You do not want to change the rhythm of the game. So even though Yurtseven's got 20 points, the team is functioning very well right now with him on the bench. So you leave him there for the moment.
2 shots for Freeman. The first one good.
And Freeman, you get the idea that he's still forcing it out there a little bit, but in this half he has forced it by taking the ball to the basket. He did make a 3, but it was a wide open shot.
He's got 7.5, 10 in the game. They've only averaged 2.5 points in their last 2 games. He was 2 of 12 from the floor coming into today.
Sometimes when you're a guy struggling like that, you just have to see the ball go in the goal.
1-point game, under 10 to play now. Lawrence a triple. Got it. Anthony Lawrence, his 3rd 3 of the day.
And he came into this game in ACC play shooting 50% from out there.
Got 15 today.
I think he's made them all today. He's 3 out of 3 today.
Lob for Freeman and hit the inline on the lead from Johnson. Turnover number 12 on the pack of Kevin Keats. And here is Yurt 7 back for Leonard Freeman.
And this is a lineup we've seen the Wolfpack employ a lot today, where they play the one guy at the 5, either Freeman or Yurt 7, and play Dorn at the power forward spot.
Yep. Newton going to work against Markel Johnson. Now Lonnie Walker against Al Freeman. Here's Lawrence. Huell back on the floor. Right-hand turn. Lawrence the rebound. Tried to skip it out for another chance and threw it away to Freeman.
I think Yurt 7's size has really bothered Huell today.
Markel thought about the 3. Baseline fed the big fella. Got stripped out of there. State somehow kept it on the deflection. Freeman got to be careful. Wheels all the way around here. Nice pocket pass. And the foul, Newton against Yurt 7. That's a good look from Al Freeman on the bounce pass, Dan.
It is an excellent look by Freeman, and I thought he was going to try to force the ball to the basket. I think everybody from Miami did as well. Newton just simply doesn't get down quickly enough from the perimeter to cover. Both of the players went with Freeman, and Freeman sort of created that opportunity by the fact that he's forced the ball to the basket a couple of times here in the second half.
And the free throw by Yurt 7, no good. He's just 57% at the line this year. 29 against Clemson, 22 against Wake Forest. He's got 20 today, so that's 20 or more in 3 of his last 4.
Well, he's got 4 rebounds. He's got a couple of blocked shots.
And the second one rolls in for him. So 21 points for the sophomore from Istanbul in Turkey. 3-point game, under 9 to go in Raleigh. Miami has won the last 2 meetings and 3 of the last 4.
And you see Huell, who's their leading scorer, is on the bench now because he's just really struggling with Yurt 7 today on both ends of the court.
Well, Zundu is 2 off his career high, by the way, which was in this building, by the way, last year. 3 to shoot. Newton all the way to the rim and scored. 5 for Jaquan Newton. And it's back to a 5-point game.
It's got to be very frustrating for the NC State coaching staff. You played that well defensively for the entire shot clock, then give up a layup.
Yep. Approaching 8 minutes to play. Freeman had it knocked loose, turned it over, and then committed a foul in the backcourt. His second 3 on State.
And again, Freeman trying to force it. He had some success the last couple of trips, but that's a turnover, and that's a costly one. You know, if you're NC State, you've been battling from behind the entire game. The only time they were ahead was at 2-0. And the last time it was tied was 25, and NC State has spent the rest of the time trying to battle back in the game. Those kinds of turnovers can be killers.
Under 8 to go. And there's a foul on the perimeter.
I actually think it's on Yurt 7.
And we get a timeout. 5-point game. 7:51 to go. Back after a word from your local ACC station. Miami, the foul on Oumir Yurt 7 before we went to break. And here's a look at the Honda dealer of the Carolinas AP Top 25. And Miami probably going to fall out of that. Louisville potentially with a win today could move into the top 25. But just terrible news for number 20 Clemson. It was just announced here, Dan, within the last hour. Senior Dante Grantham to miss the rest of the year after suffering a torn ACL in the win over Notre Dame yesterday.
Oh, boy.
Here's Walker, a 3. Lonnie Walker expanding his game on the perimeter, his 23rd 3 of the year. And the Miami lead is 8 with 7.5 to go.
And again, the ability to get those open threes. That's now 9 made 3-point baskets in this game for Miami.
Yeah, Canes come in 12th in the league at about 7 a ball game. Here's Batts going to work. He plays with Dorn, Beverly, Yurt 7, and a foul on Azundu. NC State essentially has got 4 guards and Omer Yurt 7 on the floor.
But as we mentioned, Dorn is a guy who can play inside very effectively. Wes, one of the things that Jim Larrañaga told us before the game is that he wants his team to have 16 assists, and he feels like if they get 16 assists, they're going to win the game. They have 20 today.
Yep. First of the 1-and-1, bounds out.
As you mentioned, Wes, Yurt 7 is not a good free throw shooter, and at this point in the game, you still have plenty of time, but you need to really make that one. Yurt 7 1 for 3 on the day.
Yep. Inside Azundu.
I think he was surprised by that pass. Don't know why he should have been. He's been open inside all day, and they've been getting him the ball, but that is a great catch.
Abuka has got a new season high of 15. He's one off his career high, which occurred a year ago in this building. Young man who played his high school ball in the Charlotte area, moved to the United States in 2013. I think he likes playing the PNC Arena.
Well, Yurt 7 goes over to cover him. Nobody drops down inside. And I think Yurt 7 actually was in Azundu's line of sight. And the first time he saw that ball is when it went past Yurt 7. He was surprised that it was on top of him so quickly. But great catch.
Well, Miami, of course, coming off the tough loss to Duke, has Louisville in Coral Gables on Wednesday night. NC State, who's won 3 of their last 4, including the 9-point victory against Wake Forest here Thursday night. They're at Pittsburgh on Wednesday night.
Wes, one of the things that we said, and it's true of the ACC and it's true of any other of the power conferences, you're going to lose some games. The other teams are pretty good. The question is, if you're going to stay in contention, can you recover? And Miami, certainly, they're not out of the woods yet, but they're certainly looking like they're going to recover.
Well, they've lost 2 straight, and there's a turnover by Yurt 7 on a fine play by Lawrence, who forced the disruption. Newton. Miami's been attacking, and Lawrence tries to keep it alive from the perimeter, cannot, and Azundu reached up and under to commit his 4th.
And one of the reasons why Azundu has scored so many points today is, for the most part, he's been able to stay out of foul trouble. Usually, he picks up at least 1 foul, if not 2, while he's reporting to the scorer's table. But today, he has not done so, although he's got to come out of the game now.
And a 1-and-1 for Omer Yurt 7. Now, most days, DeJuan Huell has been the guy who's the principal post for Jim Larrañaga. However, today, you could make the argument, Yurt 7 missed the front end of the 1-and-1, that Abuka Azundu has had more effectiveness against NC State.
Well, there's no question. Huell has really struggled on both ends of the court against Yurt 7, and Azundu has had success.
Brown on the drive. Leaves it for the lay-in by DeJuan Huell.
Another assist for Miami. Miami now on a 9-0 run that actually was started with a couple of NC State turnovers. The Wolfpack have to tighten it up on both ends of the court if they're going to come back in this one.
Beverly. Under 6 to go now. Miami's largest lead of the game. 4-2 on the road, and Dorn fouled on the jump shot. He'll get a couple of free throws. Torrin Dorn Jr. and Anthony Lawrence. That's his 2nd, and that's 10 now on Miami with 5:48 to play.
Wes, there's a tendency, you get in a game like this, you get down. Coaches call it the Superman syndrome, and probably that's appropriate on a day like this since it's superhero day. But you think, okay, I've got to go save my team. Actually, they should call it the Mighty Mouse syndrome, because he's the one who came to save the day, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, so
Dorn hit the first.
You have to avoid that temptation. You've got to do it together. You've got to move the ball and get better shots. Just putting it down one-on-one isn't really going to help.
Torrin Dorn got the first. He's 4 for 4 at the line. 5 for 5 after he knocks that one in. 9.5, 11 in the game now for Torrin Dorn.
And now Miami's going to come with the pressure.
Front court, here's Huell challenging Yurt 7, and a bump and a foul on Omer. That'll be 5 on NC State and the 3rd on the big sophomore.
One of the problems when you press, if the team you're pressing can beat your pressure in the front court, in the back court, they can get an open opportunity in the front court.
Back to Huell. Soft runner, no good. And here's Beverly.
That was Dorn that time who got in the way and forced Huell to short arm that one.
You're at 7 at the post. Turns with the right hand and 1. Omer Yurtseven now has got 23 in the ball game.
And that is a great place to go because Yule has struggled all day long, and Yurtseven just takes the ball right to him. Yule reaches in. And in that situation, just put your hands up. Make Yurtseven shoot the ball over you.
And 1 of 4 at the line is Yurtseven. 2 out of 5, knocked that one down. 7-point game, 5.5 to play. Each school's got a couple timeouts remaining. Here's Newton.
Boy, that was a dangerous pass.
On the drive, Jaquan Newton fell off the front rim.
Got to move the ball in this situation.
Markel Johnson works all the way through. Here's Beverly on the drive. Pull up good. 10 for Beverly. His 5th double-figure game of the last 8 for Kevin Keats.
And if you're Miami, Wes, you cannot be content just to beat the pressure up the court. You've got to beat the pressure and try to score.
Walker out front with 10 to shoot. Huell tried to help. Now Huell for Lawrence with 4. 3. 2 on the shot clock. Huell touched it on its way to the rim. Basket interference.
I think if Huell lets that one go, it might go in the basket. But Wes, you're right. He put his hand right in the cylinder and tipped the ball and made it hit the back of the rim. Ball's going up. He gets up and he hits it when it's in the cylinder. No question about it.
State on a 7-0 run. And Brown, the rebound of the Yurtseven miss.
Boy, that's a big rebound. And a big miss. Hadn't worked the entire game, but maybe you ought to get Huell involved in that screen and roll.
Walker a triple. Oh, the freshman. A dozen for Walker. That's his second 3 of the half.
And because they tried to run that screen and roll with Huell, it caused the defense to collapse and left Walker wide open.
Dorn on the drive and the basket. 13 for Dorn.
Look out.
6-point game. Here's Miami. Brown, a right-hand flush.
That's what I'm talking about, Wes. They pressure you, you beat them down the court. And when you got a guy who can finish like Brown, why not?
Approaching 3 minutes to go. Back to an 8-point Miami lead. The Canes have kind of held their ground against the Wolfpack flurry here.
Yes, they have.
Freeman, a long 3. Timeout taken. Kevin Keats, his team to within 5. Al Freeman threw this in from out at the bell line, but it was after Bruce Brown punched it with the right hand. Oh, that's one of those long ones you talk about. 5-point game. Back in a moment.
All is being brought to you by Geico, saving people money for over 75 years. By Food Lion, raising standards without raising prices. How refreshing. And by your local Chevy dealers.
Well, both these teams well over 50% from the floor. NC State is shooting 72% from the floor in the second half and trails by 5.
Well, they've turned it over 6 times, Wes, and that hadn't helped the cause. And Miami shooting 60% from the field in the second half.
Canes with the ball out of the Wolfpack timeout. And we approach 3 minutes to go in Raleigh. Brown looping here for Newton.
When a team presses, it really tends to open up the court, and Miami has taken advantage of that in dealing with the pressure.
Azundu back on the floor with 4 fouls now for Miami. 3 to shoot. Newton, long 2. And the rebound for Dorn.
And if you're NC State, Newton is the guy you want taking that shot at the end of the shot clock.
Dorn looked at Yurtseven, spinning in traffic, put it up, blocked.
What a recovery by Anthony Lawrence. I thought he was out of the play.
And stripped of it. Wanted to foul, didn't get it. Here's State. Johnson, the trailing Freeman. Dorn, Yurt 7 the rebound. Johnson stole the loop pass for Freeman.
Well, Johnson has 13 assists in the game, but I thought he made the bad decision there. He should have passed the ball to Beverly.
Dorn. And knocked out last touch Lonnie Walker. It'll stay with the Pack. Under 2 to go in a 5-point game at PNC Arena.
Intensity, Wes, has been great the entire game, but it's been ratcheted up a couple of notches.
And Roger Ayers, I think, wants to make sure under 2 minutes to go, Dan. Are they checking the clock here, or who touched it? I think Lonnie Walker touched it last, right?
Well, when there's at least two guys contending for the ball under 2 minutes of the game, or under 2 minutes in an overtime, the officials are allowed to go and look to confirm who actually touched the ball on its way out.
So it will stay with the Pack, as you see Walker knocked it off the hand of Yurt 7, if you will.
Well, it appears that the last one to have his hand on the ball was Walker as he pushed it out of bounds.
Yep.
But that's the officials are allowed to use that tool, so in this particular situation, there's no need not to. No reason not to.
Yep. Johnson on the inbounds. Beverly.
It's a nice job by Walker to get over there before Beverly could squeeze it off.
Yurt 7 now backs down on Azundu, who plays with 4. Omier left hand, and there's 5 on Abuka Azundu.
Azundu did a great job up until the point, West, where he moved into Yurt 7 as he was shooting. You just stand straight up in the air, keep yourself stationary. Yurt 7, this is a very tough play for Yurt 7. Watch as Yurt 7 goes up. Right here, there you go. Clearly, Azundu moves into him. If Azundu just holds his ground, that's an extremely difficult shot for Yurt 7.
Season high 15 for Abuka Azundu as he fouls out. He was perfect 7 of 7 from the floor. It's the first time he's been disqualified from a game this year on fouls. And both free throws by Yurt 7 give him 26 now. 3-point game with 100 seconds to go in Raleigh. Newton.
They're trying to match up. Finally did. Wolfpack, that is.
6 to shoot. Brown crossing over all the way to the glass.
That's the guy, I think, that I want to have the ball at the end of the shot clock. What a maneuver by Brown through traffic and then to beat Yurt 7.
Well, after a very tough last 2 games, Brown's responded. He's got 19 today for the Kings. 5-point lead, under a minute now. State really can't wait around very long. Johnson, bounce pass, Yurt 7, and it rolls in. 26 now for Yurt 7, and Kevin Keats just took his last timeout. And Jim Larinaga wanted that long inbounds pass to be awarded, not the timeout call, because Lonnie Walker was running free. But Bruce Brown has been huge.
Now this is just a situation where Brown evaluates and just weaves right through. He uses the screen as a fake and goes right by Yurt 7. But then Yurt 7 gets inside. Nice job that time again by Brown to not foul. And even though the official didn't blow the whistle, he was trying to blow the whistle. When that ball comes through the basket, technically it's a dead ball, and the coach is allowed to call a timeout. So the timeout was called. It's just that they threw the ball in bounds before they were able to get the timeout acknowledged.
Well, after 29 against Clemson on 12 of 18 from the floor, Omier, Yurt 7, has come back today. He's got 28 and 6 rebounds on 12 of 16 from the floor, and he is our Chevy Performer of the Ballgame, brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. And boy, Dan, you have to be impressed with the way he's played the last 2 weeks for Kevin Keats.
Wes, I am, but one of the things you got to remember here is your discussion earlier about how Miami is not a great free throw shooting team. I think we're to the point in the game for NC State is if you don't get the steal, you pick out somebody to foul.
State's got 2 to give, though.
And so which is why you got to pick out somebody to foul.
Yeah, one comes quick here. No timeouts left for Kevin Keats and 2 fouls before Miami shoots. There's the first one.
You got to get a foul.
Yep. Down 3. They tie up Likes, and a foul called, or a timeout called. Timeout. Timeout called by Chris Likes. How about that?
Well, he was in deep trouble. Boy, Likes takes the ball. You cannot pick up your dribble there. Oh, my.
Oh, Freeman has the ball.
He does have the ball.
We may have had a better angle there, but the replay looked like the ball was loose when the hand went in the air.
Now, we can't hear when he's calling timeout.
That's true. That's correct.
And just because the official doesn't grant it, he's trying to grant it. So you just don't know what happened there.
12 to shoot. Likes near the midcourt line.
Now you play tough defense.
Brown has been the guy. Huell left alone. DeJuan Huell slipped it.
When you never play zone, that's a tough time to start.
20 seconds left. Stayed out of timeouts. Markel Johnson, baseline, put it up, block. Brown battling inside. Last touch Miami with 12.5 to go in a 5-point game.
Wes, the risk you run when you don't take that foul early is that if the other team scores, now you're really in trouble.
Freeman looking for the baseline against Walker. Knocked around. Walker the rebound. 4 seconds left. Off for Likes. Miami will dribble out a 5-point win. 86-81. Jim Laranaga's team snaps a 2-game skid to get their 3rd win in the ACC. Kevin Keats' team, who'd won 3 of their last 4, goes to 3-4.
Nice job by Miami. NC State kept running at them the entire game, but the Hurricanes were able to withstand it. Some big 3-point shooting, some great plays at the end of the shot clock by Bruce Brown.
Well, Dan, we have gone 12 ball games in ACC play without a really tight fit. We got one here today. My goodness, what a high-level ball game. Wasn't pretty at times, but boy, they competed for the full 40.
Wes, when you're talking about a conference game, particularly when there's so much at stake, each of these 2 teams is trying to contend. There's going to be a tremendous intensity level, so it's not going to be pretty all the time, but it was some really nice offensive basketball.
Miami finds themselves now 14-4, 3-3 in the ACC. NC State on the road at Pittsburgh Wednesday night, and the Wolfpack falls to 3-4 and 13-7. Louisville will visit Coral Gables on Wednesday night to face Laranaga's team.
Wes, NC State battled from behind the entire game, and they did battle. They only led at 2-0. The last time the game was tied was at 25. But Miami, one of the big things for them today, they're not a team that has shot the 3 particularly well in ACC play. They were 10 from 19 from outside the arc, and that's a team shooting under 30% in ACC play coming into the game today.
Well, Jim Laranaga said they've been charting assists 5 different ways. Won't be hard to chart them tonight. 26 assists on 34 made field goals for his Miami club here.
Well, he told us if they got 16, he felt confident they would win. They almost doubled that.
Well, it's a good win for Miami, and it's a road win. They're 2-2 on the road in the ACC. Kevin Keats and the Wolfpack have been strong here at home. It's just their 2nd loss at PNC Arena, and their 1st at home to a conference opponent. For highlights and must-see moments from this ball game and others, be sure to check out theacc.com. And our next telecast on many of these ACC network stations comes up on Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll join you from the Joel Coliseum in Winston-Salem. Duke and the fabulous freshman Marvin Bagley III in their 2nd meeting of the season against Wake Forest. The final here in Raleigh. Miami 86, North Carolina State 81. For our producer Eric Kendall, our director Lonnie Dale, and our outstanding ACC Network crew. And for Dan Bonner, Wes Durham reminding you, you've been watching coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference basketball on the ACC Network from Raycom Sports.